I still find it creepy and weird that the Port Townsend judges gave a protective order against me because I was sounding the alarm about an abusive man. I filed complaints with the Port Townsend police, the Jefferson County Sheriff, Judge Walker, Judge Rimpson, Judge Forbes, Judge Mack, the city officials. I let them all know this man was dangerous and violent. I tried to get a protective order for Ginny Ellison. Against this man, Judge Lorraine Rimpson gave him a protective order against Ginny, who he was abusing, and against me. They didn't look into him at all. They protected him. He made it so Ginny got evicted. He continued to stalk her and harass her. The Port Townsend courts, Judge Rimpson, Judge Walker, they protect abusers. They don't protect victims at all. It's stunning. They didn't even look into the guy at all. Judge Brandon Mack recently made a ruling, that kept the YMCA manager's protective order against me and some of the abusive men at Salish Rescue, right? He said that I was unlawfully harassing the men of Salish Rescue because I let the police and the courts know and the public know that the man had talked about putting them in body bags. The courts didn't recommend criminal investigation, didn't recommend that, well, maybe Salish Rescue's in danger, we should look into this guy. No. They were just looking for a way to abuse me. This is real. They punished me, said that I was guilty of unlawful harassment. The word unlawful is criminal, right? But I don't get a public defender or get to defend that. Judge Brandon Mack, Port Townsend, Jefferson County, said that I was guilty of unlawful harassment against the individual. He said I endorsed this person's death threat of putting the men of Salish Rescue in body bags. I endorsed it because I sounded the alarm to officials. They didn't investigate the guy. They gave the guy protective orders against me and against Ginny Ellison. They don't care about domestic violence rights. They don't care about victims. They don't care about mental health. They care about protecting who they like politically. This is heinous, okay? This is your Jefferson County courts. Every single judge in that building and many of the clerks were in on this and still are. He is ruling, Judge Brandon Mack's ruling in an appeal case, actually said, well, you unlawfully harassed that Salish Rescue guys and the YMCA management, because you, Crystal, that's me. He said that I endorsed the death threat that the man said about putting Salish Rescue in body bags, which he was saying it only if they came to him. But they took it serious enough to call it a death threat and say that I was endorsing it, so I'm punished. But he can do whatever he wants. 6'4" tall man, abusing women, emotionally, financially, totally unstable guy. I sound the alarm, and the courts and the cops and the judges and the city officials punish me. A protective order was affirmed against me. The reason Judge Brandon Mack said that the unlawful harassment charges against me stick is because I endorsed the individual putting Salish Rescue in body bags, because I sounded the alarm in every single court. Mack's court knew, Commissioner Forbes, Judge Lorraine Rimpson, Judge Walker. It's in all the hearing videos. It's on the docket. I told them how dangerous this man was, but because Salish Rescue said her associates, Crystal's associates, wasn't my associate, it's their associate. I only met the man once when I did an interview. Judge Lorraine Rimpson made me remove the interview because it incriminated Libby, Wennstrom, and Salish Rescue for deliberately sinking Braith Miller's boat Touchstone. Deliberately, willful. They covered up crimes. They removed a link to a YouTube video in an official investigation. and then turned around and blamed me. They took the threat serious enough to consider it a death threat, and it's bad. You shouldn't endorse bad things. But the person who said the bad thing and threatened the bad thing, they condoned. They gave him protective orders. They protected him. They let him be at Jenny's property while she was evicted. She couldn't even go back and get her things. And then Libby Wennstrom paid for an attorney, McFadden, to represent Jenny's landlord to ensure she got no rights. I can't stress enough, I've been doing anti-corruption investigations in victims advocacy for decades. Never had a judge say that. Never had a judge to be so corrupt and evil as to say that I acted unlawfully because I warned the officials in the justice system about a man that was potentially dangerous. I was endorsing his threats because I was trying to stop him. Judge Mack didn't say, we're going to investigate this guy or look into this. He didn't remove the individual's protective order against me or against Jenny Ellison. He said, Crystal, you're the problem because you shouldn't have told anybody that he was doing those death threats. Yes, he might have threatened to put people in body bags, but you shouldn't have told anybody, and you shouldn't have put an interview online, and you shouldn't have said anything about it. Well, the interview was only online for 2 days because Judge Remsen removed it. So, if you report a crime in Port Townsend or you tell the judges of some bad individual and you try to protect a woman, a vulnerable woman in a mental health issue, someone who needs help, someone who has a domestic violence history, you warn the courts and the courts say, well, you're the messenger. So we don't care what he did. We don't care who he kills. We don't care who he threatens. We don't care who he hurts. We don't care who he robs. We don't care what he does, what he steals. All we care is that you endorsed it because you said that he said it. And you posted his exact words from his exact mouth. Transcript of the interview in Judge Remsen's case. And I'm the problem. Remember that, Port Townsend. You see something, say something. No, don't. If you see someone trying to kill someone or threatening to kill someone, don't even get involved. Because the cops will go, nope, you're bad because you reported it. That's what they've done to me. Okay, and not just one judge in the courthouse in Port Townsend, all of them. Commissioner Forbes didn't make a ruling, but she sat there and let Salish Rescue berate me and bully me and put me down, and she shut me up. I was Jenny Ellison's advocate. She let them just completely bully and berate me, and I didn't get to defend myself at all. Libby Wennstrom and all of Salish Rescue went into court that day to intimidate Jenny Ellison and me, who had an ethics complaint at the time against Libby Wennstrom. Went there to shut me down and to let the courts know I'd harassed them for posting public records they didn't like, right? Forbes looked at Jenny and said, when did you become a vulnerable adult? Right? Totally abusive to this woman who has mental health issues, is a domestic violence victim. She sees all of this horrible things that happen. She's looking right at it on her docket. And she's looking at Jenny's mental health condition, and she's on disability. And this judge was cruel to her. Forbes didn't make a decision. She put it off for 2 weeks. And in that 2 weeks' time, all of Salish Rescue got protective orders against me because they didn't like that I posted public records about what they really did. This is your Jefferson County courts, and you can't complain. Prosecutors don't care. They're above the law. Judges are above the law. I did a complaint against Judge Mindy Walker for what she did to drive Michael Almain to suicide attempts. Okay, she said, he's indigent. Here's $70,000 in attorneys. And then said, oh, he's not indigent. He's guilty. Can never see his dog again. Has criminal charges. Oh, and he can pay $25,000 for Center Valley Animal Rescue keeping his dog illegally, too. Okay, they don't care. Pretty sick stuff. Jefferson County, Port Townsend, Washington. Corrupt to the core. The courts, the good cops don't have a chance. They end up leaving. Okay, good public defenders end up leaving or standing down. All for politics. We obey the Constitution. They don't. I'm guilty of unlawful harassment for trying to protect a woman from domestic violence. And the person who did it and made the threats, they don't care.